Welcome to the Better Agent Podcast. If you're a real estate agent that's looking to grow your business, then you're in the right place. Whether you want to go from 5 to 10 transactions a year, or 10 to 50 transactions per year, or more, well then this show is for you. I'm Josh Lavik, your host for the Better Agent Podcast, and in each episode, we'll bring you the tools, tips, and tricks directly from myself and some of the best leaders within the real estate industry. We have one goal in mind, and that's to boost your production and elevate your real estate game. Let's dive in and start creating a better real estate experience together. All right. Welcome back to the Better Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Lavik, and on our episodes, we are talking about growth and what it takes to maybe grow your real estate business. If you're an agent out there looking to, go from maybe 5 to 10 transactions a year, or 10 to 20, or 20 to 30, or 40, or even more than that, whatever your goal is, our goal is all about growth, and we are here to learn from one another. And I have been in the real estate business for over 20 years now, and happy to share some of my thoughts. I've got a few, and also happy to bring on wonderful guests that also have grown their business, and they're bringing some of their insight into our audience as well. So today we have another Josh and Josh today. So you got the Josh Show times 2. Josh Lavik, I'm your host, and today we also have Josh Brost with us. So Josh, thanks so much for joining us on the show. Why don't you share a little bit more about yourself for our listeners today?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Josh, on the Josh and Josh show. It's been really awesome to get into it. So, no, I appreciate the invite as always. But I'm Josh Brost. I'm a young agent, 26, freshly turned 26 years old. This is going to be my 5th year in real estate here in March. So I've been doing this my whole career, meaning I went to college. I got a degree at the UW-Oshkosh, which is a state college here in Wisconsin. Got a marketing economics degree up there. And I've always had this goal or vision of doing real estate no matter what. So even if I wasn't going to college or was going to go to college, I was going to do real estate. So once I graduated in 2021, I flipped to a full-time agent. If I did get licensed when I was going to school, that would have been 2020. So this March is going to be that 5th year that's coming up, and time definitely flies, especially when you're in real estate.
Man, so I just want to commend you because, going to college, I mean, when I was 22, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to be when I grow up. And just to come out of college straight away and you're like, nope, I think I'm going to go into real estate, and boom, I'm going to do this. And you totally did that. You put the blinders on and just said, yep, this is what I want to do. And what's the next step? And here you are almost 5 years later. Holy cow. That's pretty impressive. Where did that come from? Where did that interest and desire? Were you thinking? Do you have other friends or family members that were in real estate, or how did that come across?
No, there really isn't anyone in my family that's even in construction or real estate. It's kind of corny, kind of cheesy how I say why I got into it, but the answer is always the same. I love helping people and I love houses. But if I could build stuff, if I could build new homes and actually design the houses and have that skill in my arsenal, I would be building houses. But I am so the least handy person you'll ever meet. So I figured real estate was kind of the second best option, and it's been going really well. And I really love what I do too. So.
Well, very cool. Well, that makes sense. You have a good background for it, right? Marketing and econ. We're looking at data and dealing with marketing and stuff like that all the time as a realtor, as a real estate professional. I also went to school. I didn't go to school specifically for real estate, but I got my master's in business and had lots of marketing and economics classes as well. Very similar kind of thing. But, I know when I was your age at 26, I think I had just started in real estate. So I was couple years into it, but and at that point I was still unsure. Is this the right business for me? I don't know. Do I really want to do this? Previously I was a biology undergrad major.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and I thought I was gonna be like a science teacher, or maybe go into ecology, environmental science. That was my path, and so I kind of got into real estate accidentally and thinking that, oh, maybe I'll try this for a little while. My mom is a realtor as well. That's how I got started. And so she was working on a condo project on the west side of Madison. So you talk about building and development and stuff like that. She was on this big project, needed some help. I decided I'm going to get licensed, and she thought I'd be good at it. And apparently I was, because I'm still going 20 years later. So
yeah, you're doing something right, for sure.
Doing something right, yeah. I think I admire some of what you said, though. I think it takes a lot of what you shared with some of our listeners, and that's certainly a dedication and a commitment to saying and sort of putting a line in the sand almost, right? Like, nope, I'm gonna go into real estate. This is what I'm gonna do, and boom, and you totally went for it. Did you have success like right away when you got out of school? How'd that translate?
Yeah, no, good question. So I started on a team. So I was up at UW Oshkosh. So I was working real estate up in the Green Bay area, which is vastly different than even Madison. So
Yeah.
working on the team up there was kind of getting fed leads and really learning the business. I mean, I think I spent 3 to 4 weeks alone on contracts, just like studying them, rehearsing them, going over them to make sure like I was confident enough as like a 20 or 21-year-old to like explain these to people. But also aside from that, it was probably partly because I was in class and had the time to like spend time on these contracts. But first year, I mean, I remember I had $100 in my bank account. I had my first panic attack in my first year of real estate. I was just overwhelmed with school, real estate. I know I had to go on a showing, which was like an hour away. And I went to go start my car, and my car just did not work. And I was like freaking out because I'm going to be late to the showing. And I was already stressed from school and all this stuff too. So it took a lot to like kind of get where I'm at now, where I'm at 30 plus transactions a year, solo agent, off the team. But yeah, definitely starting out, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows.
It's not all sunshine and rainbows. You mean just because you love houses and you love people, that doesn't automatically mean you get to roll in the money and you're like,
no, unfortunately not. I wish it was.
Yeah, no, I hear that from a lot of people. I mean, I've been building kind of a team-based business for since 2010, so about 15 years now, and kind of similar though in the sense that. Right, we bring people on the team, and they want to try to learn from what we're doing and how we're doing things. Obviously, we have different leads and opportunities and things like that available for new agents joining us. But yeah, it takes that effort, that extra effort. You still have to go get it. The phone doesn't always naturally ring, right? You have to go calling people and reaching out to people and making things happen in order to put those deals together. But also, the other thing I think that's important too for any agents listening, right, is just being a student of the game and knowing like, hey, if you don't know the contracts inside and out, like you're at a disadvantage. Like this is if you're a real estate professional, you need to know the contracts inside and out. You need to know how to explain it. You need to know how to negotiate for your clients, what different things mean. I mean, that's like table stakes, right? You're playing poker, and that's the ante. You got to know that, like, period. So if you don't do that,
it's not even just knowing the contracts. It's knowing how to explain it to people where they're able to understand it, where they're not in real estate. They're not selling houses every day. Like, sure, you can read it word for word, but no one's going to listen to you and understand what's in that contract. They're just going to, all right, yep, sounds good, Josh. We're just going to go ahead and sign this off and not even listen.
There's one way to, right, it to pass the test to get your license, right? And then there's the way where you know it inside and out, and you can explain it in different ways, in different, plain English language, right? I mean, this is a complex legal transaction, legal contract. And so, knowing what it says, in simplified words, right? Can you explain it as well? I mean, that's an important skill. So, when I think about, those early days too, like when I was first starting my business and I was, the first, I'd say, year or two for me, like I said, I mean, you came out of the gate kind of saying, yep, I'm going to do real estate. This is what we're doing. I did not. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll do real estate. Maybe I'll do something else. I'm not sure. Still trying to figure it out. But I'll tell you what, I remember after about a year and a half, I'd had a mental shift to what you talked about, right? And that was, okay, if we're going to do this, let's go. Let's hit the gas. Let's do everything I got to do. Like, and if I got to stay up late and read the contracts, if I got to do the extra, put in the extra work, build my business, make the extra calls, do what I got to do to build my business. I was 100% committed at that point, because I wasn't making much money. My first year, I hardly made anything. It was like, well, this ain't working if I'm only halfway, right? I mean, I remember I wrestled in college and I went to state for wrestling. And I remember similar concept, right? Like I had a goal to want to get to state when I was in high school, right? And, it's hard to get to state, right? Like you got to be a pretty good wrestler. Well, but it was the same sort of mindset. Like I had to go do extra practices. I had to work extra hard. And so like, I just took that same sort of philosophy to my real estate business and just said, okay, if we're going to do this, let's put in the extra work now. Right? Let's get this plane launched off the ground in the air. And then once we did, then yeah, I've been doing 30 to 50 transactions a year for several years. So I totally get it. So
yeah, just rip the Band-Aid off. I feel like everyone kind of starts in where they're like part-time, learning the business, kind of testing the waters, if you will. But I didn't really see true success until pretty much when I went full time. Before that, sure, I was making more than I ever would have, like working at a minimum wage job. But even so, it's like, ooh, I still don't feel like I'm fully ready to go full time. But then it came to the realization where it was like, in order to actually make this a career and a successful career and be there for your clients 100% of the time, you have to be full time.
Yeah, no, it's a hard transition to make, right? And some people are scared to do it, right? You go from this world where maybe you're used to getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, and then a lot of people starting in real estate, there really no paycheck every 2 weeks. I mean, there's some jobs on the administrative side where you can get paid maybe every 2 weeks, but most realtors, you're an independent contractor, and you only get paid when you sell a house or sell a property or have a closing. So, making that shift, it can be scary for a lot of people. But yeah, I mean, you do what it takes, but at some point you got to make that commitment. And if you do, well, I think if you do, you experience exactly what you and I are both sharing and with the audience, which is if you're 100% committed, you will make it. You will find a way to make it. And you will.
100%.
Cool. Well, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about, this last year, 2024 was kind of a shift year, right? We came off of COVID, right? Interest rates are spiking back up, and now we're kind of in, we've seen some of the sales data come out overall nationally. We're down in terms of our overall number of sales in the country, and on our state and local associations, I think it mirrors that. What's working for you right now? I mean, what worked for you on the last year or two that you think has really been contributing to your success in today's market?
Yeah, really good question. I think it really just comes down, and this might be cliche to say, but just relationships, people that people that know, like, and trust you are going to work with you more often than not than someone who doesn't know, like, and trust you. So just finding those people that you can think of off the top of your head that you can maybe foster those relationships a little bit further, and just reaching out to them and being like more than just the real estate professional. Be someone who's giving restaurant recommendations, be someone who's giving things to do in the community, things to like go and do on the weekend. Just be someone more than just, I'm here to sell your house and then see you later at the closing table. I've seen that just be successful, where like I'm reaching out to these people like just casually, and then all of a sudden, hey, we're ready to look at homes, and they come to me first. So it's just been great to see that. And then when I'm doing that and supplementing it with social media, it shows them that I'm not only this person that they can trust to like go to for all these things, but I'm also a trusted advisor when it comes to real estate, because they're seeing all my real estate posts as well. So yeah, I'm not getting these more often than not. I'm not getting like the viral videos where I'm getting millions of views on these videos, but at the end of the day, I'd rather have 500 to 600 views where it's 500 to 600 people I know, like, and trust than these million views of random people across the country. And then the third thing is just my referral basis that I've had. 70-75% of my business is referral at this point. Obviously that, starting in the business, your first year, second year, it's not going to be that, but I've grown those relationships with agents that I've worked up in the Green Bay market area with, and kind of just stay in touch with them and send them little gifts or little thank you notes and things of that nature to really just keep that relationship going.
Yeah, what you're sharing, I think, is so revolutionary. I mean, it's in the sense that it's not. And actually, I've been doing this 20 years, like I said, okay? I feel like I've said that more than once. And when I first started in this business, they said the most successful agents, it's all about relationships. It's all about people, if they know, like, and trust you. Well, and it's probably in a couple of these books right behind me, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, it is about relationships. But I think for me, what I've noticed too is it's about not necessarily also that they know you, but like the part about liking and trust you, right? That is built over time, right? As they get to know you as a person, and as they see your success with potential clients and in your social media, or staying in touch, or providing value beyond just, hey, I'm hosting an open house, right? 90% of the people are probably not moving in the next year. So how do you stay in touch with those people and not be that annoying realtor that's just like calling for a deal? Let's not piss off the world, but like also let's find a way to add value, right?
Yeah,
they get to like
100%.
you because you've added value in their lives in some way. Okay. And that's probably has nothing to do with real estate sometimes, right? It could just be connecting for grab a cup of coffee. It could be helping out with doing something in the yard, or it could be, just being a good neighbor, being a good friend, finding other ways to add value to their lives.
Yeah.
I think,
add value to their lives. And I feel like the real estate part will just come up naturally. They should know that you're in real estate. They should see your success if you're doing stuff on social media and posting a lot and showing off. Not kind of showing off, like quote unquote showing off your success, and people know that you're in real estate. So the goal is to have them to ask you first, like, hey, how's the market? Now it opens a conversation naturally about real estate and your job. And it just flows so much better than like feeling like I'm going over them and like, oh, this is why I'm helping you out because I want to talk about real estate.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the finesse part about marketing, right? Like we're trying to stay in touch and get to know people, but also if all you do is talk about, hey, do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell and invest in real estate? Like, if that's your only script, like you're missing the boat, you're missing out on something, right? Like, yes, I think people need to know you're in real estate, right? You can't be a secret agent and hide out and just don't tell anybody because you're afraid that you might offend somebody, because the truth is they might forget about you, and they only know if you're in real estate if you tell them. But I think, it's kind of that fine line of reaching out and getting them to just think about you and feel comfortable with you. So how do you do that in terms of, so we say it's about relationships, staying in touch with people, adding value. Can you give something more concrete about how do you do that? How do you build that? How do you foster that?
Yeah. I mean, one very simple thing I do is, and I can't believe this works, but I send sports schedules out every time there's a new. So Badgers, Packers, Brewers schedules, I'm sending those out on a consistent basis. And it's one of those things that they stick up on their fridge. So they're always seeing it. They're always having me up there. But I get people who I'm tied to the mercy of this company that I work with that prints off these schedules. And sometimes they're a little bit later than some people are requesting them. And I get people messaging me like, hey, are we getting our schedule this year? I'm like, I didn't even realize these schedules were that desirable, but it sounds like it's working. Like people are excited to get these sports schedules. And I've been told by other agents, like, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time. But if you're doing it the right way and it's a form of marketing for you, it's just another touch point that you can get in front of people. So that's one very simple reason and way to do it.
Yeah, it's simple, right? Sometimes simple is best, right? And doing whatever you can to stay in touch. I think, I've sent sports schedules in the past. I haven't recently, though, so maybe I need to revisit that. We'll have to bring that up at our next team meeting. We haven't done that.
It's a bit tacky, but
in a while, but
it's a bit tacky. But if people are craving for them, it's like, sure, I'll do it. If you really want me to,
you got to give the people what they want, huh?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. What about, so you said you're more of a solo agent right now. Is that the case, right?
Yeah. So I did start on the team, but
tell us, I feel like doing 30 plus transactions in a year is quite a bit. How do you balance all that?
Yeah, good question. So I was 2.5 years is when I became solo. So I was on the team originally and then kind of switched to being a solo agent. And right when I was switching to solo, I was like, kind of nervous, like, where is my business going to come from? Where am I going to generate these leads? Because I don't have that safety blanket of the team leader being there to provide me leads or provide me open house opportunities. But last year, 2024, which you had mentioned previously, it was a little bit of a shift of the market, a little bit of a down year, was actually my best year by far. So yeah, so it worked out really well, but definitely could notice like burnout happens a lot quicker as a solo agent because you don't have as much leverage to leverage off on people. I did hire a TC last year, so she's been kind of there for just compliance and making sure.
TC, transaction coordinator, right?
Yeah, sorry, transaction coordinator. Yep.
No worries. Just for the listeners that don't know that, I understand.
Yeah, it's all just comes out naturally.
Yeah,
but I did hire her. She just pay her at closing. So every closing, I just pay like about $300 every transaction. And it's really for just compliance and files, but it allows me to focus on getting more business and fostering the relationships. And then still I'm there in the background and helping during the transaction, but I'm not focused so heavily on making sure everything's spick and span when it comes to like the compliance stuff.
Yeah.
And the reason why I hired the TC was actually I failed to order a home warranty for one of my clients, and that was like, yep, that's the time to hire a TC at this point. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think I remember when I was early on, I remember missing some things, or like I forgot to order something very similar. It was like, okay, when you get to that point and you got too many balls in the air, it's like, and when something gets dropped, that's when it's absolutely time to hire somebody. Time to hire help. Yeah.
Don't want it to look bad on you, and it's like, oh, now's the time to hire. Maybe do it sooner than that, but just to hire right away. So
yep. No, and it takes time. I mean, it's hard to, right? Because some people wonder, right? When am I at the right stage in my career? Should I hire somebody? Should I not? Right? Because you don't, in some ways, there is some uncertainty to this business, right? You don't always know where your next deal is going to come from. But if you're putting in the work and doing what you got to do to stay in touch with enough people, then the business will come. That's for sure. So, yeah. Well, very cool. Well, yeah, man. Gosh, I don't know. We've talked about a lot of different things. What anything come up for you? Anything that's jumping out at you as something you want to bring up for our listeners today in terms of if someone was looking to grow their business from where they are to where they want to go, double it in a year. You had your best year yet last year, which is great. And what would you say beyond what we've shared so far?
yeah, no, I mean, just for a little bit more context, last year I did 34 transactions, about 12.5 million in volume. So that was my first, I guess, technically second year full-time solo. The other years were like part of the year I was team, part of the year I was solo, but this was like officially, okay, I'm on my own. So that was just kind of rewarding too, to just, be solo and have this great year. Part of it is just doing the daily tasks. I think a lot of people can get the business where people are reaching out to them, but it's truly in the follow-up. That's where you're going to get the people to come out and reach out and stay in touch with you and actually buy a house with you. Because you can't just get the people from, say, an open house, reach out once and expect them to use you. They're probably not looking right away. So you have to have this consistent follow-up, this plan, these systems in place that whether you develop them yourself or get them from someone else, as long as you're using them and using them efficiently, that's really the name of the game, is the follow-up.
Yeah, following up. It's so simple, right? I mean, you meet somebody once and they're probably not going to transact immediately, right? This is a long-term game. And yeah, you stay in touch, you add them to your database, you send a note, follow up with them then, right? Every week, every 2 weeks, however long it takes, and continue to follow up, right? I remember talking with one of my other mentors recently, and he was telling me that most conversions happen after the fifth follow-up, right? The fifth time. Not the first, not the second, not the third, not the fourth, the fifth. How many
Sometimes
agents?
I feel like it's the 20th.
Sometimes it's the 20th. You're right. I can tell from experience. Absolutely. I've talked to people and it's the 20th time. Okay. So, I mean, people, I think for agents out there that aren't getting the results maybe that they want, they're not at 30 plus transactions and 12 million, but they're saying, why aren't I there yet? Well, maybe you need to go 5, 10, 15, 20 times before giving up, right? And what's your system for following up and continuing to stay in touch, right? I mean, because it isn't going to be always immediate, right? And so you got to keep going that next level. So,
like, what's the worst case scenario? You follow up with someone, they tell you to not contact them anymore, or don't respond. I mean, those are the two worst case scenarios I would think of. So you really aren't losing anything by not following up with these people that have already had a conversation with you about real estate in the past. Maybe they're just, on that ghost mode that we all experience.
Yeah, the other thing I think that's important to listen to think about, and I just experienced this myself where, I was following up with some people and I noticed that maybe I had certain times of the day was different, right? Like I would call them in the morning, then I'd call them midday or afternoon, whatever. And like they would be more apt to answer, at say 2:00 or something. I don't know. So if I looked at the history of when they answered and most of my calls were in the morning, it would always go straight to voicemail. Well, maybe they're in the middle of work or maybe they're busy. And so, I think it's important to vary your call times too, or how you're following up, right? It could be a call, it could be a text message or an email, who knows, or some other kind of message, but it's mixing it up. And then also, I think tuning in to your client, right? They get to know you, they get to like you if you can connect with them and meet them where they are. Sometimes when you reach out to them, is the timing is often more important than the script you use, right?
Very true. Very true.
Right? I mean, there's trainers out there that'll give you all the scripts, and they'll give you their big scripts library. Here's all the fancy words you got to use when you follow up. Or you could just catch people at the right time and connect with them.
Yeah. And then they go one little centimeter off the script, and you're fumbling because you don't know how to respond because it's totally different than what you practiced.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get it. No, well, yeah. No, I really appreciate you coming on our show and sharing some of your insight and some of your nuggets and sharing more about growth. And what about next year and the next couple years, 5 years? What do you see as your long-term vision and growth goal?
Yeah. I think this year I want to do 40 transactions, so slight improvement from this year. Volume would put me at about 14 million roughly. Yeah. I think within the 5 years, I do want to explore what it looks like, maybe making a team, having some agents underneath me, having an admin possibly. But it is kind of just like going from part-time to full-time. You got to rip that Band-Aid off. And I'm kind of not at that point where I feel like I'm ready to rip that Band-Aid off, because I do want to provide value to these agents that are going to be on my team. And it's like kind of that mindset I need to get in. Like, yes, I can provide value. Yes, there are things that are different than just providing leads that agents are looking for when they join a team. So I think that time will come. So those are the two big things I would say with my business.
There you go. Well, if there's anything we can do to help be a catalyst in that growth, let me know. But I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing some insight with listeners today, and reminding me as well about some of those things. I was, you're 26 years old back, I was started at your age, and you were just you're already 5 years in. I'm like, holy cow, I'm way behind. So
I feel like most people do it the way you do it, though, where they have a job and then they transition. I feel like I'm the odd duck in here. So
hey, that's all right. It sounds like you're well positioned and making good things happen. So that's cool.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. And again, for anybody listening, this is the Better Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Lavik, and here with Josh Brost. And we hope we brought some value to your time with us today. And if you're interested in hearing more, then tune in to the next episode. And hope everybody has a great day, and this was helpful and you grow in your real estate business.
Thanks for tuning in to the Better Agent Podcast. I hope you found today's insights valuable. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for more tips, Q&A sessions, and sneak peeks into our 21-day challenge. To get full access of our show notes and more details on the 21-day challenge, go to abetterrealestateexperience.com. Keep striving for greatness, and I'll see you on the next episode.